Wow. I think I need to sit down after all of that. Y'all, I was thinking this morning, as you know, David was in the House for years and years. David was Speaker of the House. David was Ambassador to Canada. He's a really wonderful, great person, and here I follow him, but I'll do my best. And I have to tell you one story about David. About 10 years ago, I took on raising the money for the Children's Museum. So I was out begging and begging and begging for money. I had to raise $8 million, and I was at about 60,000. I called David, and I said, David, I need some help. And at that time, he was in the House, and he said, let me work on it, let me work on it. So a month or so later, I get a phone call. Somebody in my office said, David Wilkins is on the phone. I said, oh boy, oh boy. So I ran, got my phone, and he said, I got good news for you. And I said, what is that? And he said, today the House approved $1.2 million for the Children's Museum. So that was the seed money. From there, the next day, Carolina First Bank gave $1 million, and the next day, Greenville Health System gave $1 million. So within 24 hours, I had $3 million. And that was the beginning of the Children's Museum, and I want y'all to clap your hands for David. So thank you, thank you. And y'all, I really am honored that all of y'all came out to hear me today. I look around this room, and really, truly, I think I know about 85% of you. And you had to get up early, you had to get your kids to school, some of you, and you had to get here. So I really thank you for being here. And I was telling my husband last week, I said, you know, I go to 1 million of these speeches, and most of them are really boring. So I said, I'm going to try real hard not to be boring. And I also want you to leave here having learned something. Now, Tripp called me in March. Lots of things were going on in my office. Tripp said, Velda, we would like for you to be our speaker at the Chamber Forum. I was trying to get Tripp off the phone, so I said, fine, I'll do that. And so I hung up. And then I sort of remembered something about that in June or July, but I still said, he'll forget, he'll never call me back. So September rolled around, and I get an email from Tripp, and he said, Velda, we're really looking forward to you doing your talk. I said, well, Tripp, I'll do it. And I said, what do you want me to talk about? And he said, well, what would you like to talk about? And I said, do you want me to talk about my shoes, my shoe collection? Because I could really do a good talk on that. And he said, he laughed, and he said, no, whatever you want to talk about. And I said, okay, I need to know all the people that have talked before me. And I want to tell y'all, all you women, there's only been one woman this year that talked, and everybody else has been a man. So I said, all right, I'm going to do something that I think that all the women in the group will want to hear about, and also most of you men. So that's sort of where I came up with the topic of balance. So at the end of this day, what I'm most hoping that you will learn something and that I will entertain you to a degree that when you leave here, you will think that it was well worth you getting up this morning. Okay. As David said, I am the CEO and owner of the Hughes Agency. And I did start 15 years ago. And we are a full-service marketing, public relations, and advertising company. We are no different than any other major company. We're just smaller. And I chose to make it that way. Over the years, we could have grown and grown and grown, but I didn't really want to just manage people all my life. I actually wanted to do the work. And so we are a boutique agency. I have 15 incredibly talented women. And I'm going to introduce them in just a minute. Now, I do have one man, and he decided not to come today. That's okay. But they are incredibly talented. And David told you a little bit about my father. My father taught me when I was very young. He said, Velda, you can do anything that you want to do. I'll be honest, I wasn't quite as bright as my brother and my sister, but I tried. And so he said, if you want to be a doctor, you be a doctor. If you want to be whatever you want to be, you can be that. So I always sort of, held that with me. And what I really wanted to do is to go into journalism just like he did. But I didn't want to be a reporter in my entire life. I wanted to run a business. So that is sort of the direction that I went in. Now, we have national clients, regional clients, and local clients. I have to kind of start off. I really have to say that Carolina First, TD Bank, is really what put the Hughes Agency on the map. And David Lominack, right over there, president, and Cal Hurst, the regional president, that came today. I can't believe y'all showed up. But anyway, I have actually been working with them for 32 years. So I tell everybody I birthed 3 children, but my 4th child is the bank. And so I spend a lot of time on the bank, and it's very, very special to me. And then for the last 6 or 7 years, we've had Cinex. Mary Ellen Grom, thank you for coming here today. She's their marketing director. And so we represent Cinex worldwide. And then we also work with McKibben Hotel Group out of Tampa, Florida. So they have hotels all over the country, and we do all of their marketing. So these are some of our national clients. Okay, local, Smithmore Leatherwood, and we have Michelle Lyerly back there with Smithmore Leatherwood. Had them for a good amount of time. Bond Secures, I'm so glad that all of y'all are here. That's a fairly new client of ours. We do Cinex Share the Magic, of course, the Greenville Chamber. What I want to tell you about the Chamber, we've actually been working for the Chamber for 15 years. So the major events that we do for the Chamber, or the annual meeting we do every year, the diversity event and the golf. Also, Packlet Milligan, we do the Bill Haas Charity Classic, and Blue Ridge, and I think Charles Dalton was going to be here today. But anyway, so these are some of our local and regional clients. Now, having all of that, we are very busy. It takes all of those companies that we work for, we work directly for the CEOs. So we're very, very, very busy, and this is how I feel many days, and I want to see how many of y'all feel this way. All right, how many of you feel that way oftentimes? Okay, the only thing that's not up here is Instagram. Fortunately or unfortunately, about 6 months ago, I joined Instagram. And so I take great pride in having a lot of followers and following a lot of people. My children say, Mama, when these people are sending Instagrams, they are not sending it to you. And so you do not have to like every single one. And you do not have to comment on every single one. Well, with my personality, I have to. So every morning I'm up. I'm like, Audrey, I like everything you put on there every single day. Sharon, Wilson, Real Estate. I am liking every single house that you post. And Mary Ellen, I got your daughter on there. So I'm just doing my best to like everything she does. So Instagram has added a whole nother dimension to my life. Now, hopefully I'll get over that one day, but that is just, and my girls are laughing because we have a rule at my office. If any of them like anything from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I know it. And so I go and say, you enjoying your Instagram today? And so they know they better not be doing that. But social media is taking a whole nother thing. And you know, if you run a company, you've got social media going for your personal self, you've got social media going for your company, so it's just taking a lot of time. All righty, this is the Hughes Agency team, and I asked them to get all their pictures up there. Get them all up there, and you're going to see this one man down there. He is our creative director. He is very, very talented, and I said, you do not have to come and sit with all of us today. But these are the 15 women that are incredibly talented, and like my father said, always hire people that can do things far better than you can, and I think I've done a great job of that. Now, everybody always wants to know, do I only hire gorgeous women? And that always makes me mad, so don't ask me that. They happen to be gorgeous, but they're incredibly bright, and I would like all of y'all to stand up, please. Before I tell you a little bit more about them, some people from my husband's office. My husband owns his business. It's called Hughes Commercial Properties, and I would like all of them to stand too. Where are y'all? And I have to say, one of those back there in the black outfit, that is my daughter. And I could not believe it. I did not tell her about this, and all of a sudden yesterday she said, Mama, I'm coming to your presentation tomorrow. And I said, you are? And she said, yeah, I really want to come. And y'all can imagine what her life has been like with me as her mother. Always saying, you know, clean your room, get rid of the clutter, all those things. So, Ann Carter, I really appreciate you being here. And she is the mother of my only grandchild, which you'll hear more about that too. All right, with the Hughes Agency, we have newlyweds, we have new mothers, we have moms with children in elementary school, we have middle school, high school, we have mothers of college children, a wide range of different kinds of, you know, responsibilities. So they all need balance in their lives. I mean, they've got a lot going on. Not only do they come to work every day, they've got a whole nother life when they go home. So it is important that we have balance in the office in order for them to do what they have to do when they go home. So I want to start out kind of in a broader view, talking about balance. How many of y'all have participated in the 360 development program? If you have, raise your hand. Okay, good. I'm glad that y'all are familiar with it. The 360 evaluation, basically, I was the person in the middle. I was the middle white center. And we recently did this in my office, and I had my direct reports, my team members, managers, myself, everybody evaluate me. And y'all, I don't like people evaluating me, but it was important for me to hear what they thought about me and how I managed the office. And so I told them, I said, listen, you don't have to put your name on it, but there's no point in doing this if you can't be honest and tell me what you think. So we recently did this, and there are about 50 questions. And I'm not going to go through all that with you today, but there were like 5 questions that really resonated with me. And I'm hoping there'll be, you know, something that you can take back to your work. Do you strike a reasonable balance between work and your private life? Just raise your hand. I'm just curious. How many of y'all think you do a pretty good job of that? Okay, raise your hand if you don't think you do a good job of that. Okay, it's about half and half. Okay, all right, second question. Do you act as if there is more to life than just having a career? Okay, I do want to tell you one quick story. Ann Carter, my daughter, is going to roll over on this one. But when I was in the midst of beginning my career, my youngest son, he had been at camp for 5 weeks. And so I didn't want anybody else to pick him up because I was trying to look like a good mother. So I drove up there to pick him up at camp. He looked like a mess. God, he hadn't taken a shower. I don't think it was a mountain camp. He was really dirty. His hair was really dirty. And so anyway, I got him in the car and I said, honey, let's go to the barber shop. Let's get your hair cut and get cleaned up. And he said, that's fine, Mom. So I said, listen, now I'm going to take you to the barber shop. I got to run to my office. I'll be back to pick you up in just a little bit. He said, okay, that's fine. And so they had a Coke machine there. That was a big deal to him. I said, I'll give you some money for the Coke machine. He said, fine. So I dropped him off at 11 o'clock. About 5:15 that day, the barber called. And he said, Miss Hughes, do you think that you could come back and pick up Harrison? And I said, oh my God. I said, my child's still at the barber and I've left him there for 6 hours. And you know, I was so into my career and doing that, you know, my child stayed there. And so to this day at Christmas, we all talk about, you know, me leaving him there all day. But y'all, it was a good experience. He learned something and I learned something. I learned that I had to do a little bit better at managing my time and thinking a little bit better. Okay. Do you have activities and interests outside of your career? I'm hoping that. Is there anybody in this room that does not? Okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. All right, fourth, do you take career so seriously that your personal life suffers? Okay, if you do, raise your hand. Okay, so there's a fair amount of y'all doing that. Okie doke. Fifth, do you allow job demands to cause family problems? Raise your hand if you do. Okay, all righty. All right. You answered these questions. What you got to do is you got to figure out what you can eliminate, what you can simplify in order to improve your overall ability and your overall performance. So if you scored high scores on your work-life balance, high scores on leadership effectiveness, if we can get all of this corrected, you're going to be 16% more effective as a leader. Okay? Now, work elimination. There are always things that you can eliminate. Now, I think that I'm pretty efficient, but there are always things that you can eliminate. So what I recently did, I asked my office, what can we do to eliminate things that give us better, more quality time during the day? And I said, listen, y'all be anonymous. Here again, they're scared to say too much to me. So I said, I want you to be creative. I want you to be honest. There are no wrong answers. And what would help you be more productive? So this is what you eliminate. All righty? What we did, every single Monday morning, we have what we call a traffic report. And on Friday afternoons, every single person, every account exec has to do a report to tell me exactly what has gone on that week. Because with 25 clients, I cannot keep up with every single thing. And like TD Bank, y'all are the biggest problem. But anyway, Cinex is second biggest. But with TD Bank, it's about 5 pages. It's like all of these things and listing all these things, and it's a lot. And Greenville News, y'all don't be smiling too much back there because y'all aren't easy either. But anyway, so I'm a talker, so generally these meetings go on for about an hour and a half. The meeting starts at 10, we get out about 11:30. And so one of the things they said was, I talk too much, I carry on too much, we needed to cut it down. So we cut it down to 45 minutes. So We start at 10 o'clock, at 10:45 we're out. So that gave everybody 45 more minutes of their day. So that was a big help. I'm kind of old school. We used to, every single time we had a major meeting with a client, they were required to do a progress report. And those progress reports had to go to me and go to the client within 24 to 48 hours. Well, we got a lot of meetings, so we were just writing progress reports all the time. We eliminated progress reports totally. No more progress reports. They can write an email to the client saying, great meeting, boom, 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 no more progress reports. Gave us a lot more time to our day. And y'all, I'm the type, somebody gave me a chance. My first job when I was 22 years old was at the Greenville News. And my father wouldn't let me move to this town unless I had a job. And so they hired me. So I tend to, everybody that calls me that wants to have a meeting, I go, oh yeah, I'm happy to meet with you. And so I'm just meeting. And like, you know, 5 different copy machine companies want to meet. And I always say, okay, come on in, we meet. Well, I've eliminated all that. No more meetings with my vendors and suppliers. And gosh, some of y'all might be vendors and suppliers of mine. But anyway, what I do on that is I will talk to you on the phone. We'll have a great little meeting on the phone, but we're not going to schedule a whole hour to come in and talk. So all of those 3 things, we actually eliminated about 10 things, but those 3 things gave me the most time. Okay, we also got to simplify daily tasks. We've eliminated things, and now we got to simplify some things. Here again, I asked my team, what is it we can do to simplify? Okay, same thing. All right, now here's where I had to depend on them. I am not a IT genius or a computer person or whatever. I can do okay, but I don't know nearly the things that they do. Use a central online tool to manage team updates. So instead of like reinventing the wheel every single week with these team updates, we now have systems that are in place that make that far, far more simple. So that saved a lot of time. Begin using a more robust online event check-in and registration. If you think about it, with the chamber, with 1,200 people at the annual meeting, with the Cinex Share the Magic event, 1,200 people, we used to have, you know, RSVP to blah, blah, blah. Well, you're going to get, you know, 800 or 900 people responding to you. And so that wasn't working. So now we have an online system. It goes straight to there. We can keep up with everything. Okay, Google Docs. This is a big thing for Cinex. We have to get 48 people every time you do something to approve things. And you know, you got to go to the president, you got to go to the CEO. Now we can send it to all of them at one time. They can all do their edits. It all comes back to us, and we have one document that we can use as our press release. Huge amount of time savings. So that is one thing I'd highly recommend. If you aren't the best at all of that, then depend on your team to help you figure all that out. Okay, this is a funny little story. Does anybody know who this is, or I'm probably the only oldest one? Dennis the Menace. Okay, here again, Cinex, being one of our largest customers, they're on the East Coast. They have an office here, but they're in California. So at 5 o'clock, our time, we'll get an email saying we need this, 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 and this, and we need it today. Well, it's 5 o'clock, and you know, we've got mothers over here that need to go home, need to go pick up their children and all of that. Well, here again, with my personality, we got to get it done, we got to get it done, we got to get it done. So, you know, we're out there working at night at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Well, this year, when I had my little review with my Cinex executive, he said, Velda, you treat me like your child, Ann Carter. You need to treat me like your child's best friend, next door neighbor. You need to say at 5:30, you need to go home. It's time for you to go home. So the point of that is you don't always have to treat every client like he's your best friend. Treat him like your neighbor's child. And at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, it's time for him to go home. Does that make sense? So we can start over again the next day. Okay, finding more time in your day. You need to work, eliminate work, simplify work, and you're going to have more time. Okay? All right, here you go, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all about my day. Now, we're all different ages in here. I'm old enough to be most of your mothers. So what my day looks like is not necessarily going to be your day. But oftentimes people ask me why I do as I do. And so this is sort of my day. I get up every day, 7 days a week at 5 o'clock. And that is not anything to brag about. It's just what I do. That's just when I wake up. So I'm up every morning at 5. And then, David and Cal, you're getting your emails from me. I look at my emails that have come in during the night. And I address my top emails from 5 to 6 in the morning. So, and I also give my directive to my team. How many do y'all give? A few more than 10, right? So I address the things that I need addressed because I want to get them off my mind. And then I go to the gym. And David said I go 6 days a week. I go 5 days a week. So that's just a real important thing. That's very important to me. So I go to the gym, get to the office, and then from 9 to 12, I'm doing my work. And then I'll tell you a little secret about lunch. If you're very career-oriented, which is what I've been doing all my life, if you don't work at having friends, you're not going to have any. You're going to have a lot of business associates. You're going to have a lot of people that you're kind of friendly with, but you're not going to have real friends. So I look at my lunch hours, hour and a half, as the time that I want to spend with my friends. I look over there at Debbie Sloan and Sharon Wilson. Now, they're dear friends of mine, and they're people that I call and say, let's go to lunch. They're business ladies too, so they can understand the things that I talk about. I just saw Andy Douglas here from, where's Andy? Andy's here somewhere, and I saw William Bradshaw. William is a dear friend of mine. William and I'll go to lunch. So use your lunch hours. Don't just waste your lunch hours. Do errands if you need to. Call your friends, spend time with them. That's what I do. And then my greatest joy in the last 6 months, my lunch hours I spend with my grandchild. She's 6 months old, and I might not get to see her that day. So during my lunch hours, oftentimes I drive to see her. She's almost 7 months old, and there's only been 9 days of her life that I have not seen her. Actually, I have to call Ann Carter and say, is it okay if I come today? So anyway, so that's sort of what I do on my lunch hour, my meetings and so forth. And then at 5 o'clock, I try to, pretty much, go home. Now, I got to show y'all a few of my little props here. How many of y'all know about Spark? Okay, all right. About 2 or 3 years ago, I decided no more coffee, and I was addicted to coffee. But I decided I was going to rid myself of coffee, rid myself of tea, and so every morning at 5 o'clock, this is what I drink. I guess you want to call it a supplement, but it has vitamin A, vitamin C. It has all the vitamins you need, no calories, and I drink this every day. Now, everybody wants to know why I have so much energy. This has a lot to do with it. So I do that before I go. This is probably more than you want to know, but I do that before I go to exercise. When I come back from exercise, this is what we're doing. Now, doctors over here, I actually went to a seminar about keeping your brain healthy. At my age, you start thinking about dementia and those kind of things. So this seminar I went to, it said the most important thing you can do for your brain is eat dark berries. Blueberries, blackberries. Are y'all laughing over there, doctors? Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, whatever. So when I get back from the gym every single day, 7 days a week, I do this. I drink this protein shake with berries in it, and then I also eat a carbohydrate. So if you think about it, between my Spark, my muscle milk, my carbohydrate, I got a lot of energy. So I highly recommend that, and it fills you up, and then you go eat lunch. And then one other thing I want to tell you about, I don't just like show up at 5 o'clock or 5:30 or 6 o'clock and look at my husband and say, what are we having for dinner? When I walk out of the house and he walks out of the house in the morning, we know what we're having for dinner that night. Now, we're not having some big elaborate meal, but we have planned what we're doing. So I also think that's important, or you get home and you're kind of out of sorts. Don't book too many meetings. I used to book 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Don't do that anymore. It's way too much. You must make time to exercise. Address your priority emails. Don't necessarily just go down the list and do them all. Kind of figure out, like if David emails me, I got to answer him. If Peter LaRock emails me at Cinex, I got to take care of that. And how, Cal, I address yours too. Okay, so and then delegate. I have incredibly talented people. I cannot do everything. So that I delegate a lot. They know that. Like actually, they put this presentation together for me. Maximize the use of your lunch hour. I cannot say enough about that. Just don't waste your lunch hour, and don't just sit in your office. If nothing else, go outside. We're fortunate enough to be on Main Street. Go walk, go do something. I keep my tennis shoes in my car, so I don't always wear these shoes. So plan everything for your meetings, your dinner and so forth, and y'all take your vacations and enjoy your vacations. But don't be silly about your vacation. You cannot walk out and then, 7 days later communicate with your client. I get up every day at the same time on vacation. I look at my emails, I respond, then I put it up for the day, and I'll respond again in the afternoon. But it's not like they're going to hear from me all day long. So, but go on your vacations, and don't be like a martyr and like, I don't go on vacations, because of course you got to go on vacations. All right, now, I've said a lot of things, but one thing I think is really important. You have your family, which is your priority. You have your work, which you love. And I have to say, there's never been a day in my life, 32 years, David, that I have not wanted to go to work, because I do love it. It's my playhouse. So I enjoy every day of it. But you got to do something that makes you feel that you have contributed to the community. And at the Hughes Agency, what we do, what we try to give back is to an organization called Clement's Kindness. And it is a fund for children with cancer and blood diseases. And the reason that really came to me, one of my dearest friends, her child died at 9 of a brain tumor. And Debbie and Sharon certainly know who I'm talking about. Well, I was in my 20s when that happened, and I was actually the godmother of that child. And it really, it was the most profound thing that had ever happened in my life. I had never seen such pain. So anyway, we give back to Clement's Kindness, and I feel like all of you got to find something that means something to you. Sharon, I know you're very big at Project Host. She believes in giving people jobs and teaching them how to do things so they can get a job. But anyway, I want to show y'all a video. This is a little tiny part of a video that we did recently for the Cinex Share the Magic event that relates to Clement's Kindness.
He was an amazing example to me of dying with dignity. He just had an incredible grace in his heart, and it was amazing to see as a parent, wow, God's with him. Todd, from the time he was a little boy, just full of life, a smile that lit up the room, and that's what everybody remembers about him, is his smile. We were on an extended family trip to Disney World, and we were all having a great time, and he came into our hotel room and he said, "Mom, my side hurts." Took him to the doctor, and he was diagnosed with a malignant peripheral nerve sheath tumor. And then he died May 10th, 2013.
We really know mostly of Clement's Kindness through the monthly dinners. We call them STAR, someone to always remember.
No matter what, there's a hug for everybody. Everybody gets hugged that night, so it's great. Clement's Kindness has given us a chance to meet together with other families who are in the same place as we are. They miss their children too, and they know what it feels like to see the empty beds and the empty place at the table.
So those of us who are in the support group go to the facility and have a weekend together. You can come together and kind of let your guard down.
We're better people in many ways because we have this place to go and meet. We are not forgotten. We're honored that we're remembered, and we're honored that our children are remembered because we can keep talking about them and remembering their names. And thank you so much, Clements Kindness, for all that you do for families like us.
And we do their annual report every year, and it's a real joy to do that. All right, Steve's over there looking at me. I was supposed to quit talking in 10 minutes. I could stay here to noon, but I gotta finish up. I'm going to leave out, Steve, a whole section that I wanted to go over. But okay, this is the last thing, and my team, y'all going to be disappointed, but I got to jump over some things. All right, the big thing I want y'all to leave with is, I feel so good every day. Now, some dread disease may get me, but I'm going to be fighting that every single day. And the thing that I do every day right here is a Fitbit. And I wear this 24 hours a day. I sleep in it because you get a few steps when you get up during the night to go to the bathroom. So I am never without this Fitbit. Now, okay, I just bought my entire team of Fitbit, and they're all wearing. Y'all got them on? Okay. We are just having a little practice right now, but starting November, we are going to have a little holiday competition, November and December. They're really going to be competing with themselves. I started this a long time ago, and my daughter's laughing at me because I can't wait to get home this afternoon. I'm going to stroll my grandchild as fast as I can for an hour, so I'll get a lot of steps. But a Fitbit is a great thing. You determine whether you want 8,000 steps a day, 10,000 steps a day, 15,000 steps a day, and you can do it with friends. You see me right there? I'm second, and that's driving me crazy. The lady right above me, this is a lady, she does not work. And so she does 30,000 steps a day. Do y'all realize how far that is? That's like 10 miles. And so every night okay, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I have to do 15,000 a day. So that's about 8 or 9 miles a day. So I have a big garage, so I walk a lot in my garage. So I cannot stress how important it is to be fit. It gives you so much energy. You drink the Spark, you do the muscle milk, you go to exercise, you do all that, but you will feel so good if you make that a priority. And you know, there are always people who say, I don't have time, I cannot do it. And like my team, they've got little babies at home. They can't get up at 5 and go to the gym, so they have to find a time. So when I talk about balance, my balance is not your balance. And I look at Audrey back there and Michelle, y'all are smiling. You have to find what's right for you. This is what's right for me. It's taken me 40 years, y'all, to find what's right for me. But if you're struggling and you can't go to the gym, you can't do this, go to Best Buy and buy an $89 Fitbit. Now, I want y'all to show them all the other Fitbits. Y'all know I'm into fashion and this, that, and the other, so I couldn't be wearing those things on my arms. And so I had to get this particular kind. But get one that suits you. And they're $89, and it is a great, fun thing to do in the office. I promise you, you'll have the best time. And we're going to do things, they're going to set their goals. They're not going to necessarily compete against each other. I'm going to compete against y'all, but they're going to set goals. And if they get those goals, they're going to get rewarded. So, okay. All right, Steve, I'm almost through. Okay, one of you, and I really have no idea, one of you has a red bow under the bottom of your seat, and you get this Fitbit. Okay, who's the closest to him? Okay, now I want to be your friend on here, okay? Okay, so,
thank you.
All righty. Okay, y'all, I have enjoyed it so much. Thank y'all for Trip. Thank you very much for asking me to come. I just appreciate each one of you. Do we have time for one question or no questions? No questions. Okay. All right. Well, I will see y'all around. Thank y'all. Thank you.